Hello, I'm going to be talking about Lady Rochford. So, Lady Rochford, also known as Jane Parker, and she was Jane Boleyn when she got married to George Boleyn. She was born 1505 in Norfolk, and in 1525 she married George Boleyn, who had the title of Viscount Rochford. Now, I would like to talk about Lady Rochford and George Boleyn's marriage, particularly in the Showtime Tudors. So, here is Jane Boleyn getting ready to marry George Boleyn. She doesn't want to marry George Boleyn. But I don't know why, she just doesn't want to. But her father forces her down the aisle, and they get married. A disturbing scene, what happens in it, and please be aware, this is only in the Showtime Tudors. This is not real life. There is no real life evidence that George Boleyn ever did this to her. On their wedding night, in the Showtime Tudors, George Boleyn pins Lady Rochford down onto the bed and rapes her. And, like I've said, there is no real evidence, so please don't take that seriously. Yes, their marriage was unhappy, but there is no evidence it was abusive, because there is something in the Showtime Tudors that George Boleyn is often absent because he's having affairs with women and also men as well, particularly Mark Smeaton. In 1536, Anne Boleyn, the second wife of Henry VIII, and also Lady Rochford's husband, George Boleyn, are arrested. And some say that Lady Rochford actually betrayed them, but in today's generation, some people actually say that maybe she was more of a scapegoat, or she was coerced into testifying against them, despite not actually wanting to and stuff, so she probably might have been scared or something. And then Katherine Howard comes along in 1540, and Lady Rochford becomes a lady waiting for her. This is when Lady Rochford's downfall comes. So Lady Rochford actually arranges meetings for Katherine Howard to meet Thomas Culpeper, who was the king's groom. Some said she only just sent Katherine letters, but, Sadly, in 1541, Katherine Howard and Lady Rochford are caught in the scandal and are arrested, and Lady Rochford she suffered a mental breakdown when she was imprisoned in the Tower of London, and it was actually illegal to execute an insane person for treason back then, but Henry VIII actually passed a law to make it legal, and he got his best doctors to see to Lady Rochford, but it wasn't so she could be better out of kindness, it was so she was well enough to be killed. The 13th of February 1542, Jane Boleyn meets her tragic end. She is executed the same day as Katherine Howard. In the show, Lady Rochford is executed before Katherine, and then Katherine follows afterwards. However, Katherine Howard was actually first, because the highest ranking victim of the privilege will go in first. and then Lady Rochford follows afterwards. I feel sorry for Jane Boleyn, because could you imagine, like, you serve 5 people and then you're executed? So, yeah. Do you think Lady Rochford got what she deserved?